How's it gangin' dudes? My name is Sean and welcome. Oh boy, the cameras are gonna come in hot, ain't they? How's it gangin' dudes and dudettes? My name is Sean and welcome back to my channel. And I am getting over this stuffy cold just in time to watch Yang hopefully smash this Iowa caucus, and if not, definitely go on to take New Hampshire, right? And Andrew Yang going to talk about this a little bit with no other than with Mr. George Snuffleupagus here, right? So. Now, Yang also responds to Michael Bloomberg, right, and also the DNC arbitrarily rigging the rules to allow Bloomberg onto the debate stage. And also, before we jump into this, because I will play this clip in its entirety, right? I just want you guys to know that Michael Bloomberg gave the DNC $300K, and they've been historically low on cash these last few years, while the Republicans have been outspending them crazy. Even AOC is outspending the DNC, the entire DNC. AOC, she's raising the DNC. It's crazy. Michael Bloomberg gave $300,000 2 days before he entered the 2020 race. So, now I also just want to say before we get in here, that guess what? That's right. Every single time that somebody has asked the DNC, a candidate, whether it be Cory Booker, for asking the DNC to get on the debate stage because of due to lack of diversity, and the DNC, their base is supposed to be all about diversity, right? And that's supposed to be what they run on is diversity. They said no when Tulsi Gabbard asked them to lower the qualifications so they could have more voices heard on the stage. They said no. When Andrew Yang wasn't asking to rig the rules or change the rules at all, he was just asking for more qualifying polls when there had historically previously been more qualifying polls during that same exact time frame. They said no. But when Mikey Bloomberg wants to come to the debate stage, they 100% rig the rules, don't they? And now also Snuffleupagus here is going to get into how Yang has never said that he wants his supporters to go to Bernie. He said there's a small overlap. They could, and but some of them are Trump supporters too, so they might not. Anyways, I don't want to take too much of your time up, but I do want to say though, you never know. You know, if somebody's got the biscuits, I'm going to have the gravy. And yes, I'm always feeding that gravy train. Oh, and guess what? I can't explain what gravy is. Make sure you smack a like. Pour some gravy on that algorithm. You know what I'm saying? Because the overlords, they love likes. They love comments. They love shares. Shares are mashed taters. You know what I'm saying? But the algorithm loves all the food. You got to give it to them. You got to give them the whole Thanksgiving meal to make videos stay relevant. That's how you do it. That's the tricks to the algorithm. You know what I'm saying? So anyways, let's go ahead and get right into it. We're going to play the thing in its entirety. I'm going to give you a little bit of analysis at the end, okay?
Joining us this morning, let me start where I just left off with Pete Buttigieg right there. You got 30 seconds at the Super Bowl tonight to respond to President Trump. What's your pitch?
We're living in a country where 78% of us are living paycheck to paycheck. Almost half can't afford an unexpected $500 bill. Too many Americans are being left behind in the 21st century economy. We need to put the gains of this economy directly into our hands, into families' hands around the country through a dividend of $1,000 a month, be a game changer for tens of millions of Americans, and get this economy working for us again, not the big corporations.
That has been your signature proposal this whole way, but right now, you've been in a pretty consistent 6th place in Iowa, never hit double digits in that state. That kind of finish means no delegates out of Iowa. After a big investment of time and money, I think you spent the last 17 days on a bus tour. Can you go on with a finish like that?
Well, we think we're going to surprise a lot of people on Monday night, George, and we've got a ton of support in New Hampshire. I can't wait to take this vision to the rest of the country, starting here in Iowa on Monday night. But we'll be in New Hampshire, Nevada, South Carolina, Super Tuesday. You know that the Yang Gang will be here the entire way.
Okay, well, the Yang Gang has been fairly strong throughout this process. But, you know, the Iowa caucuses, as you know, have a pretty unique way of voting. You're actually going to see 4 different results coming out of tomorrow night. The first round, the second round after realignment. And any candidate who doesn't get 15% in a certain precinct, your supporters have a chance then to go and back someone else on the second ballot. Where do you expect most of your supporters to go in those precincts where you don't hit 15%? And are you going to encourage them towards a particular candidate?
Well, first, we plan to exceed 15% in the vast majority of locations. And as to what our supporters might do if we don't reach that threshold in a particular place, we have a very, very diverse group of supporters. I can't speak for where they would head. I do have a sense that many of them have supported Bernie in the past, but many of them supported President Trump, and they might just leave. So there are a whole range of possibilities, and I can't speak to the minds of literally thousands of Iowans.
And you're not going to give them any kind of direction or encouragement in that way?
Well, right now we have no plans to do so.
Michael Bloomberg, I talked to Mayor Pete about that as well. He's starting to eclipse you in some of the states coming up, and he's going to be, for the debates after New Hampshire, the DNC has changed the rules. They've dropped that donor requirement, something you've actually been pushing for an awful long time, so that Mayor Bloomberg will be able to participate. Bernie Sanders argues that that's rigging the system for a billionaire. What's your response?
Oh, it's so interesting, George, because the fact is, Mike Bloomberg could have gotten himself on the debate stage anytime he wanted. It's pretty straightforward to meet the donor requirement. He could have just made that happen through online spending. And so I'm not sure this is a development that he's going to welcome, frankly. I think the DNC looked at this and said, we need to get Bloomberg on the debate stage. This change is clearly tailor-made to deliver him to the debate stage. And the question is whether this is a move that Mike's excited about or whether Mike's indifferent to or even negative towards.
You excited about debating him?
I'm excited. I'm thrilled I'll be back on the debate stage next week in New Hampshire, and we plan to be on the debate stage the entire way. So I expect to see Mike on the stage in Nevada the following, I think it's a week or two.
Yeah, we are going to see you Friday night in New Hampshire. Let me ask you a question coming out of impeachment. One of your competitors, Elizabeth Warren, has said that if she's elected president, she's going to appoint a task force to investigate President Trump's wrongdoing if she's elected. You've suggested, though, that a President Yang might pardon President Trump. Why?
Well, you have to see what the facts on the ground are, and certainly I'd listen to the guidance of my attorney general. But if you look, George, at history around the world, it's a very, very nasty pattern that developing countries have fallen into, where a new president ends up throwing the president before them in jail. And that pattern, unfortunately, makes it very hard for any party to govern sustainably moving forward with a sense of unity among their people. And so to me, America should try to avoid that pattern if at all possible.
Let me ask you a final question. You've been one of the most improbable candidates of this cycle. You've had a lot of success. You've made it onto the debate stage so many times. Let me ask you a question. Take some truth serum. Did you believe at the start you'd get this far?
I genuinely did, George, because I know that the American people realize our government has been decades behind in addressing these challenges that are growing stronger and stronger all the time. We are 25 years behind on technology at a time when technology is transforming our way of life before our eyes. I knew there were millions of Americans just like me who wanted a different approach to solving our problems and leading us forward in the 21st century. My biggest surprise is how much I enjoy a bus with my face on it. My kids love it too. I feel like I became a cooler dad as a result.
Well, that's a real bonus. That's pretty great. Look forward to seeing you Friday night at the debate. Thanks for joining us this morning.
See you on Friday, George. Thank you.
Up next.
All right, guys. So, boom. There you have it. I want to say shout out to Humanity for Yang for getting this video up so quickly. He talks a lot about what's going to happen in the Iowa caucus, and they always say that Yang's a smaller campaign, but a lot of times when he's polled, they're only polling older people. Now, his support from among older people is like infinitesimal compared to his support of young voters, right? Disenfranchised Bernie voters, disenfranchised Trump voters. Now, contrast that to any other candidate except for maybe Bernie, because Bernie's his own anomaly, right? Wow, how many people are going to come out and caucus for Joe Biden? How many people are going to come out and caucus for Tom Steyer? You know what I mean? There might be some disenfranchised and loose cannons out there for Elizabeth Warren, but seriously, do you really think anybody's going to have that kind of gung-ho support? I don't think so. And Yang just buries the hatchet for Michael Bloomberg trying to spread these lies that he wants his caucus goers to go to Bernie. No, that's not what's happening at all. Yang even said himself there has no plans to move his voters to somebody else's corner. He has no plans for that. So I'm glad Yang Snuffleupagus allowed him to voice these concerns and stuff like that. I just think that it's disastrous for Michael Bloomberg to be in the debate and for all this stuff to happen. And make no sense. Make no mistake. Excuse me. It was an arbitrary change just for Michael Bloomberg to enter the race. And Yang is right. He had all of the possibilities to enter the debate stage for him. He just wants to use his power to put his finger on the scale of democracy and showcase to the other candidates what he's able to do with his money. So it's disgusting. It's nasty. I'm glad Yang actually had a chance to respond. So my voice is getting a little hoarse again, so I'm about to get off here, guys. I do appreciate you. I love you. And I'll make sure I catch you guys in the next one. Tomorrow's a big day, so anybody who's out there caucusing, get out there and caucus.